Now, the JSE's one counter richer today. A medicinal cannabis group, Cilo Cybin, listed on the bourse's Altex market. Pre-listing, the company's IPO experienced unprecedented demand, closing early with an oversubscription. Will the group be in for higher times post its listing? Gabriel, who's founder and CEO of the company, joins us now. Gabriel, thank you for your time and a good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, it's been quite a journey. I think the last time we spoke, you were in Asia, really trying to get to this point. I'm keen just to speak about what it today has been like, but also the milestone that the business has now reached.
Yes, today's been quite a day. We've been early at the JSE announcing our listing and debut of Cilo Cybin Holdings, and we're very proud of that today. And the future prospects now, I think sometimes people think that once you list, then the work ends and it's a victory, but actually it's not. Now the work actually starts. So we've set our eyes on our first target acquisition, and we will start that process very, very soon. And hopefully within the next few months, come back to the JSE with a migration from Altex onto the main board.
I want to speak about those plans, Gabriel, and the strategy that's driving it. So it's Altex now listing as a SPAC and the journey to listing on the main board as, I guess, a normal stock there. I want to speak about the strategy that informs these steps.
So we've got quite a lengthy strategy. The first strategy was, yes, let's get onto Altex with the minimum. So we only made 10% available to the general public at this point in time. Backed by our Malaysian partners, Alps Global and Dr. Tam personally, they were the funders behind us and the backers, if I can call it that. And we raised a 10% stake from the local public. And like you mentioned, it oversubscribed within a week after opening, which was amazing. The next step now is we acquire the entity or the first target so that we can de-SPAC. So that's the next step, is de-SPACing it, and at the same time, then hopefully, depending on the valuation, migrate to the main board. Thereafter, it's back in the trenches, building the business, getting our profits up, and then hopefully in 2 years from now, once we have progressed in terms of clinical trials, then we can look to list on the NASDAQ.
Very, very exciting times ahead indeed. I want to speak also just about the regulatory landscape here. Of course, we know that medical cannabis, highly regulated all over the world. Maybe here at home, I think we're still trying to find our feet. But then also listing on the JSE, Gabriel, that also comes with its own regulatory frameworks and challenges. I'm just keen to talk about that convergence of regulation and really being able to manage it as a risk within the business.
Well, I think, yes, we've been used to quite a regulatory environment in terms of cannabis in South Africa. We believe we've got that under the belt, and we're growing strength on strength with regards to that. For us, the reason why we wanted to go public was, one, we wanted to create a vehicle in South Africa that allows the general public that they can participate in the cannabis industry. Because up until now, the only people that had real access to participate in the cannabis industry is people with deep pockets, because there's such a high barrier to entry. We want to be that company that is inclusive and allows the general public to also benefit out of the cannabis boom that we are experiencing globally. So that is one of the things that we want to pride ourselves on. In terms of the regulatory environment, yes, JSE brings more regulatory environment, but to us, it's not a bad thing. It makes us stronger as a company. It gives us more credibility when we're looking at export markets and local markets. And this is our testing ground for the bigger markets when we're looking at north towards the NASDAQ, so that they can see we are a credible company that are looking after our investors' funds as if it was our own.
Speaking about regulation, we saw the president recently signing in the Private Purposes Act there. Is that at all going to impact Cilo Cybin? Are you expecting it really to have a material impact on demand for products here at home, or even just the regulatory environment as a whole?
The quick answer, no. For us in South Africa, we still have quite a road to go in terms of legalization of cannabis. The first step was the decriminalization. The second step is the descheduling, so bringing it down from a Schedule 6 downwards so that you can trade with it without a doctor prescription, for example. And then the third step is putting in a framework whereby it is governed and taxed in South Africa. So I see that it's still going to be some time before the local market really opens up. As things stand today, it is still illegal to trade in cannabis on the open market in South Africa. So our focus predominantly now, 99.9% of our business is export.
Let's talk about that export market and also just how that is faring. We do speak, Gabriel, of a macroeconomic downturn throughout the world. I'm wondering if that has affected the demand for product, but also your ability to scale at the pace that you would like to.
We are very lucky because if you look at what the cannabis industry and the size thereof, it's a $400 billion industry estimated, of which only 10% is currently legal. So it shows you that there's still 90% that the legal market can tap into before we're even going to start seeing like prices coming down. So in that regard, we don't feel the global turn down. This being one of the drugs or narcotics that is wild. If you look at Australia, it's growing by 10,000 patients per month that is using cannabis. So in terms of that, the growth is still phenomenal. Europe is opening up, and so more and more countries are opening up, which means that the market will keep on growing for, I can say, for the foreseeable future, at least 5 years.
Well, we plan to be watching as it happens and reporting all on it. Gabriel, congratulations on this milestone, and thank you so much for speaking to us today. That was Gabriel Theron, founder and CEO of Cilo Cybin.